Welcome to the Franchising 360 Show, the only show that takes you inside the world of franchising, with hosts Tim Parmeter and Danielle Wright.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Franchising 360 Show. I am Tim Parmeter, and with me, as always, is Danielle Wright.
That's me.
Here on the Franchising 360 Show, we do take a 360-degree view of the franchising industry. All the things you need to know and think about to determine if you should become a franchise owner, how to know which one, how to succeed once you are one, even how to take a business and turn it into a franchise, and then some of the hidden things in the industry. Again, kind of I'll say, sort of supplier, but certainly an impactful part of being a franchise owner is going to be our guest today, not to mention just like legendary status in franchising.
Right.
So
we were fangirling a little. It's okay.
Yes, we definitely will be on this, and but I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, super exciting. I got some really good fun facts.
Do we? Well, we do have a segment. Speaking of fun facts, it is, I believe, and there's even like this fancy thing that's going to introduce it. It's going to pop up right now.
Okay, so what franchise generates $20 billion in referred business in a single year?
20? Did you say with a B? Billion?
With a B, yes.
20 billion in referred
business.
Business, not just business that walks into my Golden Arches and gets a Big Mac.
Right, it's referred
business. So this is one time I actually know the answer and can get it correct. But because you gain so much pleasure in the buzzard.
No, you should say it. Some of the other facts you're not going to know around this.
It's BNI.
Okay, but what is BNI for our viewers?
That one I always it's Business Networking International.
Say it slower.
Business
Yes.
Networking International.
Correct. How many countries and members are a part of BNI?
Countries, I am going to say 70.
Yes, because you're cheating.
Is it really 70?
It is 70.
Oh, okay.
And then how many members?
10 million.
360,000 members.
Oh, that's still a lot.
Because the chapters are only allowed one person per industry.
Right.
So if you're a photographer, you're the only photographer in their group. If I'm a plumber, I'm the only plumber in their group. So here's a fun fact. Ready? Referrals convert 3 to 5 times higher than traditional advertising.
Yes.
So for our viewers that are considering, hey, maybe I'm going to own a business, I know nothing about advertising.
Right.
You don't really necessarily need to.
Yeah.
You need to work at creating those wow customers that become referrals.
Yes, there's if you own a business in any way, shape, or form, the greatest word is referral.
Like Frank Coach, they get referred. Like, do you?
Yes.
Are they more likely to convert than?
And 100% like from that standpoint, but also just like more engaged and ready to have a conversation. You don't have to like educate them on why should they eat at my restaurant or why should they do this, because we all want to kind of have a guy or somebody like, oh, Danielle said I should go here because she loves it. I show up, I'm excited about it and ready to go.
Yeah, so that's the fun facts we have for this Friday.
I love it. And so our guest is going to talk to us about BNI, but really just so much more about franchising. So we are looking forward to having Mary Thompson, the CEO of BNI, is going to join us next, right after this on the Franchising 360 Show. All right, we are back on the Franchising 360 Show. Tim Parmeter along with Danielle Wright. And joining us is, I think it's safe to say, literal franchise royalty. We are so excited to have the current CEO of BNI, Mary Thompson, joining us. Mary, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate the invite. Looking forward to a great conversation around franchising and networking.
I love the fact that you assume this will be great. So we'll do our best to kind of live up to that. But we've got a bunch of things franchising to talk to you about, but I love hearing stories, and give us kind of the Mary scoop on how you got into this crazy world.
Well, I started out in the Marine Corps And when I got out, my husband and I were looking to settle down. We had children and wanted to, find a community to belong to. And he came home. I was in a sales job, and he came home from a Chamber of Commerce meeting with a little brochure from a company back then called Cookie Bouquet. It's now called Cookies by Design. And I remember looking at it thinking, man, I would love to do that. That really excites me. I think this would be a very happy product. I'd love to sell it, but I certainly don't know how to make cookies. I certainly not sure how to sell them or even how to make money selling them. But on the very back page, there were 3 magical words that said for franchising information. And so long ago, I didn't go on the internet because there was no internet. I actually picked up the phone and called, and they sent me a packet. And I've never looked back. It really was, I had no entrepreneurial experience. No one in my family had. And franchising really taught me so much about how to run a business, how to be operationally excellent, how to hire right and grow something out in my community. And it's been one of the best decisions I ever made.
Oh my gosh! So again, do you know how to make cookies now? I know you don't own that anymore, but
I do. I always say, because I came into franchising first as a franchisee. My franchisor taught me how to make the cookies, taught me how to sell the cookies, and most importantly, taught me how to make money selling the cookies, which created, nice wealth for my family. I've always believed franchising is the greatest democratization of wealth creation that exists out there. And then after we were multi-unit franchisee. After we'd done it for a number of years, we sold them. And the franchisor asked me to come on board and start teaching people what I had been doing. And I still remember my first year, I did 132 site visits. And I wanted to go back and take my businesses back and run them again because I'd learned so much by learning from the whole.
Oh my gosh. And so you've been started that way, kind of boots on the ground as an owner, have been in some amazing leadership positions over the years. And now currently with BNI, which let's start for the basics. Maybe somebody doesn't really know what that is. Explain what BNI is.
Yeah, so BNI, which stands for Business Network International, it's kind of like IBM. You never say we're International Business Machines. They just say they're IBM. We're BNI. We are the world's largest business referral networking organization across the globe. We have about 360,000 members in 76 countries. I was actually did a big session earlier today with a few hundred members on from our Middle East region in Dubai, talking about how they're working together to keep business going even through tense times. And what we do is we help business owners get referrals in business. For every dollar that one of our members spends in dues, they get about $70 in closed business. I don't know another ROI on marketing that exists out there. And over the last trailing 12 months, we have in member-to-member generated business, we've done $27 billion in member-to-member generated business.
Wow. She just trumped your fun facts.
I know.
Right that is cool.
And I love BNI. So I've always been on the franchisor side and franchising. And most of my franchisors, the number one thing they tell the franchisees to do is join their BNI chapter. And you should see how many faces I get from these calls like, what is that? What does it mean? And I've actually sat in a couple of chapter meetings in the Tampa Bay, Florida area, and it is such an amazing community and culture. So what do you all look for our viewers as far as franchise owners in the BNI system? What kind of backgrounds, what kind of people are gravitating towards this model?
Well, it's interesting. I love you. I can tell you've had the BNI experience. A chapter has about 32 members, and it has one from each industry. So there's no competition within the chapter. And they meet every week, and they don't just sell to one another. They sell through one another because they become this great network. And for a franchisee in our system, we're looking for a purpose-driven person that really wants to help business leaders grow their businesses. So our vision is very clear. Our vision is to change the way the world does business. And our mission is to grow our members' businesses through structured meeting and training. But networking is a science. It's not an art. It's a very specific science. And we teach that to the absolute nth degree. And so we want somebody who wants to come in, not reinvent the wheel, but take the wheel that we have created and be operationally excellent. And by doing that and launching chapters and bringing members into BNI, they get to help grow all of those small businesses within their community.
And it's not just I think there's sometimes, I've heard this anyway, people think, well, if I go in the BNI, then I got to go be trying to tell everybody to give me business. It's really the kind of the opposite of that, of how can I, and really almost kind of like a collaborative learning environment, because there's other, either some small business owners in some way, shape, or form. So it's more, how do you give to the group? How do you learn from the group? I would assume, as much as you're also getting some business based on just kind of showing up and acting that way. Is that pretty close?
Well, y'all have done your homework. Very, very good. So I've been so lucky that I belong to 4 high culture organizations, starting with my family. My parents were very big about high culture, high values, going into the Marine Corps, doing neighborly, and then being a BNI. BNI, we have a set of core values. Our top value, which is the essence of who we are, is givers gain. We believe that if you seek to give first, it unlocks all kinds of things for you. It unlocks business, it unlocks opportunity, it unlocks relationships. And so we teach, as part of the science of networking, instead of walking in a room and thinking about, I need to go to this person and tell them I need your business. You need to walk up to a person and say, I can help bring business to you. And those who are the great givers are actually become the great getters as well.
I love that. One of the BNI meetings I did go to, one of the gentlemen was like, I'm going to be able to refer you so much business when you join. It actually was intimidating. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready for that, but I'm so glad that you're excited about what I'm doing. And it's just kind of refreshing. And I think in a segue to the question I have is, because you had worked with some amazing brands, what about BNI did you gravitate towards when this opportunity presented itself? Because I think you could probably write your ticket to a lot of franchise organizations just based on your background and your pedigree. What about BNI was the thing that said, yeah, this is where I want to be and this is where I want to lead today?
Yes, well, you talked about, like, it was almost intimidating that since I can send so much. We call that BNI busy. We have some members that tell us, I joined and then I got so busy I had trouble keeping up with the meetings because I got so busy, which we see that as a really good problem to have. I remember when the board of BNI approached me, and I'd been at Neighborly for 18 years, and I was their chief operating officer. And I really thought I was at the pinnacle of what I was going to do and was thinking about retirement. And when they approached me, I knew BNI because I had been a franchisee and had used BNI, and it had been very helpful to me, both transactionally by bringing me one of my biggest leads and referrals ever, and also transformationally by having this group of business leaders who were very helpful in helping me grow as a business leader. But I had a friend say to me, it's time for you to move from success to significance. And it hit me very hard that as I looked to see where BNI was, I've always been a high growth executive. There are people who do turnarounds and people who do high growth. Both are important. Where I like to be is on the high growth. And BNI was uniquely poised for some great scaling and growth. And the high culture, the giver's gain mentality, what it does to help small businesses, everything I've done for the last 30 years is about growing small businesses, growing Main Street, creating value for people who are working hard that they can create wealth for their families and within their community. And so it hit me very deeply and resonated with me deeply that I could make a difference in this organization, help grow and live within, our vision and toward our vision of changing the way the world does business. Because, it's not the politicians that are going to bring the world together. It's the business people who want to connect across the street, across town, across the state, across their nation, or across the globe. And that really, I've always grown up internationally and spent a lot of time both in my childhood and my early adult years internationally. And that was very important to me that I'd be part of an organization that's doing that.
I love it in the local component. Let's come back to that after the break from a franchise standpoint. We'll be right back with Mary Thompson on the Franchising 360 show right after this. We're back on the Franchising 360 show. Tim Parmeter alongside Danielle Wright, and joining us, CEO of BNI, Mary Thompson. And Mary, I know this has been a big kind of part of your passion within the industry for a long time, of just what it can do for people and lives and families. Maybe just kind of share a story or two of something over the years where you've seen how impactful franchise ownership has been for people.
Well, for me, it was very personal. It certainly impacted me. This was a girl had grown up in the military and in the Marine Corps and knew nothing about business, and it certainly helped me quite a bit. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I could really work on being operationally excellent. One of my favorite stories, there's a couple when I was president of Mr. Rooter Plumbing. They Brad and Amanda Sims. They had grown up, not with great wealth, not with great opportunity. And he was a plumber who then became a Mr. Rooter franchisee. And I still remember they're telling me the story of when they moved. They were the first in their family ever to buy a house. And when they took their daughter by the house, they didn't tell her that it was their house. And they pulled up to the front, and she said, "Oh, that's the most beautiful place I've ever seen." And they said, "Let's go inside." She's like, "Can we?" And they said, "Yes." And her closet was bigger than her bedroom had been. And since then, not only have they built this beautiful life and created something for their family, they have gone on to adopt other children and help and bring them and take care of them. And to me, it's not just this creation of wealth, it's this creation of a lifestyle that allows people to do good within their community. And the money stays in the communities. When I was a franchisee, I paid everybody locally. I participated in the local high schools in their football programs. I donated to charity causes. It really makes this huge difference. And I think the last statistic I heard was 89% of the money stays locally in what you're doing. And it is Main Street. It is where you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And I didn't want to be in business by myself. I wanted some help, but I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to control my own destiny. And that's what franchising does.
So you recently have turned over your gavel at the IFA. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and your tenure in the last year and the initiatives that the International Franchise Association challenged you with and what you're going to look to do post the gavel turnover?
Yes, well, for me, that was a labor of love. It was my honor to get to give back and serve the franchising community that has given so much to me and the people that I really care about. And so when they asked me to step into the chair, it really was an honor for me. And over the last 5 years or so, the volunteer leadership, as we've been going through the ranks, we've been very aligned on a long-term strategic focus. It all revolves around protecting, enhancing, and promoting franchising because this is such an important industry. I say it's an industry of dream makers. We help create people's dreams. We help people meet their dreams and get someplace. And so this year, really, we had a three-pronged focus on as we protect, enhance, and promote franchising. First, a franchisee forward approach, because our franchisees are the lifeblood of what we do, and to make sure we include them in everything we do, everything from how successful we help them be to bringing them into conversations about how laws are made and how it affects them. And then secondly, we have the American Franchise Act, which I think will be one of the biggest pieces of legislation for franchising, which is codifying the joint employer rule, just making sure there's no uncertainty in joint employer so that franchisees know they're the boss and they hire and train their teams, and franchisors know they can provide support without being seen as being the employer. And then lastly, getting our message it was about clarifying, unifying, and simplifying, and clarifying the message that is franchising. What are we? And we had this great campaign called Franchise Means Local. And it was having franchisees talk about, one of the people on the campaign was great. He was with Tropical Smoothie, and he said, it's not just Tropical Smoothie, it's my Tropical Smoothie. And that is what's so amazing is it wasn't just Cookies by Design, it was my Cookies by Design. It's not just BNI. As a franchisee of BNI, it's my BNI. And so that was where we kept our focus. We got great things done. The American Franchise Act is one of the most bipartisan bills to be put forward in the last 10 to 15 years. And I'm very proud of that. Matt Howard, who's the CEO, and the whole team at the IFA have just done a remarkable job.
I think of all the things I've heard in the dozen or so years in franchising, and it's so simple, but the franchising means local, right? And it's because, especially on the bigger brands, if you don't know any better, you might think, oh, it's just some big corporation, but it is like you, and again, it gets very personal. Like you said, it's my tropical smoothie, it's my this, it's my that, and from you, even as a franchise owner back in the day, you were talking about how many, of your dollars that you made still went back into the community for sponsoring or giving back or whatever. Franchise owners really have a tremendous ability to make an impact in the community as well. And I'm sure you've seen that a bunch, correct?
They do, and they live in those communities. They care about those communities. And I think people would be stunned to find out that about 1 out of every 8 jobs in the United States is created through franchising, and franchising grows faster than the rest of the sectors. And, you go stay in a hotel, it's probably a hotel that's owned, if it's a franchised hotel, it's owned locally by somebody who cares about what's happening in their community, who's looking to give back to their community, who wants to hire people and grow them. And, McDonald's, they used to say, we're the best first job you'll ever have. And there are many people in McDonald's that started off behind a cash register and now are running regions or maybe even own their own franchise, because they were part of that and they were part of something local that allowed them to grow up within there. And there's great careers in franchising. There's great opportunity. And I'll say it again because I think it's one of the most important things people don't realize. It's the greatest democratization of wealth creation that I know that exists.
Mary, thank you so much for all of this. And in the last minute here, I want to just kind of throw a question to you for our viewers that are, again, hearing all this stuff, but maybe what's a piece of advice you would give somebody thinking about maybe looking at becoming a franchise owner?
I think finding the right cultural match. 2 things. One is you will get a franchise disclosure document. It has 23 items in it. Read it. Make sure you understand what it's saying to you. And make sure you understand everything from the item 19, which is the financial performance representation, to item 20, which tells you all the outlets you can call the franchises and ask them. To item 7 tells you how much it's going to cost you to go into it. So understand that science of it. And then make sure you understand what the culture of that company is, because you're going to be partnered with them. And I personally am somebody who really enjoys and appreciates high culture companies, because you can take people from diverse backgrounds, and I think diversity makes everything stronger. Diversity of experience, diversity of people, diversity of education, diversity. What you do then is you have a clear set of values that everyone agrees to, so you know what the rules are that you go by. And so understand that. If you're thinking about buying a franchise, go to the item 20, call some franchisees, ask them, would you do this again? What do you like best about it? What is the culture of this company? And make sure that it's something that marries and matches to where you want to be.
I love it. Mary, thank you so much for taking your time to come on and chat with us today. It's just an absolute pleasure having you on.
Same. Thanks for the great questions.
Thanks again for watching the Franchising 360 show, brought to you by Fran Coach. Danielle and I hope these episodes continue to educate you on the franchise industry. In between our episodes, if you would like to learn more about franchising and the ways in which Fran Coach can help, there are a few places you should check out. First, be sure to listen to the award-winning Franchising 101 podcast. You can find this on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Next, check out the Fran Coach YouTube channel, Fran Coach for You. You can catch past episodes of the Franchising 360 show, plus tons of other content. If you like to read, we encourage you to check out the book, Becoming a Franchise Owner. And finally, when you are ready to take that first personalized step and explore franchise industry further, please reach out to our amazing team at Fran Coach. There is never any fee for our service, so let us help you create your better tomorrow. Until next week, for Danielle Wright, I'm Tim Parmeter. Thanks for tuning in to the Franchising 360 show.